The profile, thank you, is one of the best ways that we developed to be able to get an understanding, to the extent possible, the best understanding of your staff in key areas that are related to motivation, focus, enthusiasm, and overall confidence development. Okay? So you can even, we'll talk about that when we go over that too. Okay? But it is critical to discover. Once we discover, we have now a better ability as a leader to develop that person's capacity. We've now arrived, right? So if you think of any example, you know, we've got a staff that is struggling with maybe getting the proper documentation done. What's that about? I'm not sure. So we use some of the processes to discover what are they here for, what's important, how come they signed up for the job, what are their goals, what are their needs, and we start to get an understanding. Once we get an understanding, we start to discover, and remember, even though discover is the number one, it's ongoing. You're never done discovering. Because this in that first question that's underlined over there changes, right? Continuously changes. So once we discover, now I have a better idea, okay, so you came here for this reason to this job, you want to work on it as a team member, you are looking forward to your next increment, and you see what I'm getting at? So now you know what I can do with that? I can start developing it. Developing it means to develop the most confident, competent, and capable staff member and the team overall. And this afternoon, tools are connected to every stage of the D. So we're going to get into peer appraisal, supervision appraisal form, goal setting forms, strengths index, areas for performance development, because those are tools that will supplement what we need to develop them to their greatest capacity. You still with me? Okay. Delivery, what are we delivering? We talked about staff outcomes. You've got it in your mandate. We've got it in our standards. We have to facilitate the attainment of desired and expected organizational and service delivery outcomes. When we discover, we develop, delivery happens, right? To the best possible extent. Okay? Does that make sense? So what's the fourth D? Has anyone looked ahead? Has anyone looked ahead in the notes? Discipline. Discipline. Why is it silent? Because through discovery and development, we discipline. And the definition of discipline, according to this perspective, is creating conditions that optimize learning. This discipline approach, and it's just a perspective, has two types of references. One is the positive, affirming way of discipline, which is optimizing learning and doing what we've talked about today, yesterday, and tomorrow. And the one that we're moving away from is the negative, what we know as the negative aspect of discipline, which is progressive discipline, and that need to reprimand and consequence and build that case to move down the path that we all talked about. Most of us don't feel comfortable with going. Okay? Now that doesn't mean that all discipline issues are mitigated or gone, but from this process that we'll talk about today, with the tools today, tomorrow, with the idea of understanding resistance and opposition, a lot of them are definitely eliminated.